Harley, welcome.
Thanks, John.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Harley Green. I'm a real estate investor, private money lender, entrepreneur, and a digital nomad. Our family started doing a digital nomad lifestyle in 2024, and we've been in Colombia, Mexico, and at the moment we're in the Philippines.
Wow, so just traveling the world.
Yeah, we love it. It's a great opportunity to experience different cultures, learn about the world, and especially really enriching for our kids' education. We homeschool them, and having them see the world like this is just a really incredible opportunity.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna want to get into that because we homeschool as well. But before we get to this part, just curious, as a real estate investor, what asset class were you focused in?
Yeah, so we got started out just with house hacking. We rented out our basement. We had extra space there. And then that grew into getting rent-ready condos in the area we were living. So we were able to self-manage those, do a lot of the work and, the deal analysis and things like that. That turned into a new career for my wife, who was a high school math teacher before that. And she became a real estate agent to help us with our deal acquisition. In 2019, we got our first short-term rental as a beach house in the Myrtle Beach area, started learning that asset, and it was doing really well for us. It was a great benefit because we were able to vacation there and have that be a write-off for our family. And so we kind of expanded that into a couple oceanfront beach houses in the same area, the greater Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area. Since then, we've expanded. We have more single family homes in the greater Chattanooga area. We've done a combination of like fix and flips. We've done burrs. And then we also have a small RV park. And then we're also limited partners and general partners on a few more commercial deals. So getting into like larger multifamily as well as larger RV parks.
Wow, okay, so it sounds like you've just done just about everything.
I like to have a diverse portfolio, multiple income streams, and I'm just a continual learner. So I love learning about these new asset classes as they come around and try to get involved where we can and it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually very interested in the RV park space. I'm actually in the process of selling all my single family homes. I have two in Chattanooga, that I'm looking to unload, um, specifically so I can become an LP, in some RV park. So tell us a little bit about your RV park investments.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny how we fell into it. It was something that we just been hearing about on real estate investor podcasts and, thought it was like a pretty interesting asset class. We actually got an RV over COVID and like we're camping with that with our kids. And a deal popped up when we were living in Chattanooga, and we had just sold our former primary residence back in Northern Virginia. So had a bunch of tax-free cash, was kind of burning a hole in my pocket. And so I was like, you know what, this is kind of a easy way to learn the asset class. So we purchased a 2.5 acre RV park that had 4 pads already built. It was in the process of getting built out when the owner had passed away and the family didn't want to continue it. So it was a wholesale deal. And so over the last year, we went through the process of working with an engineering firm to get plans and permits to expand the park to maximize the utilization of the space. The funny thing for us, though, is during that time, we also kind of transitioned our lifestyle from being, regular lifestyle in Chattanooga, Tennessee, to becoming digital nomads. And so when we started traveling full time internationally, made the decision to sell the park. And because trying to manage a large development project remotely, when it was like our first one, we didn't really have contractors that had done these before. We had a few guys that said they could do it that we were working with. We decided to just minimize our risk there and sell it. So we're in the process of selling it now.
Got it. Okay. So you said Northern Virginia. I mean, I used to live in Fairfax. The condos that you were talking about, was that on the Nova area?
Yeah, so we bought several condos in Leesburg. We were living south
Mhm.
of Leesburg on some acreage and liked the area. It was a great place where, at the price point, you could get rent-ready condos. Maybe they needed a coat of paint, but you could turn around and get them rented out very quickly and get a good rent value for them.
The cash flowed and everything too?
They did. So we were doing at that time we were not really like doing a fire thing or really trying to build up an investment portfolio. It was more of just like a diversification standpoint. We both had great careers. I was working as a computer engineer with a great salary and 401k. And so we saved a lot and we're just trying to kind of diversify our portfolio out of stocks. And so
Mhm.
we're just doing standard investor mortgages, putting 25% down. So with that 25% down and self-managing, they did cash flow very well.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense because And then now if you look at anything in that area, you have to put down like 50, 60% for it to break even.
We have since sold all of those condos because, like, just like you said, the appreciation far outpaced the rent growth. And so we were able
Yeah.
to do the 1031 exchanges and move those condos into nice oceanfront beach houses.
Oh, very cool. How's the oceanfront, like the short-term rentals on the beach working out? They doing well?
Yeah, so the Myrtle Beach market is great. It's got year-round demand compared to some other beach markets. Like we were originally looking at the Outer Banks, but that
Hmm.
place has really about 8 to 12 weeks of activity and then it just shuts down. And so
Hmm.
that's really hard to make numbers work there. So versus in Myrtle Beach, it's one of the fastest growing metro areas in the US. They have conferences, sports tournaments, all kinds of things going year round, golfing. And so while yes, like we get much, much lower rates in the off season, they're still pretty well occupied and able to, at least break even for our costs. And then, of course, they do great during this summer. And then the other thing that we've been able to leverage those that has helped our digital nomad lifestyle that a lot of people might think about if they're in the short-term rental space is putting them on home exchange in the off season and
Hmm.
opening them up to people to give us points that then we can then use to travel and stay at other places for no cost.
Yeah, so I've seen groups where you can essentially swap houses with anybody in the world just to live in a new place, not to pay rent. You're still paying your mortgage. Um, and you get to just experience what it's like to live there. Is that what you're talking about, the exchange?
Yeah, so there's an actual website called Home Exchange that kind of formalize it. You can do synchronous exchanges or asynchronous exchanges or do points based. And so we've used it successfully many times, both in the US and internationally. So we spent a month in Puerto Vallarta and then a month in Misma Loya in very nice homes that we did just with points. And one of the great things with those beach houses is, they're going to be sitting mostly unoccupied or at pretty low rents during the times when we open them up to exchanges anyway, but they still command a very high point rate compared to other homes because they are oceanfront in a high demand area.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to look into that one. All right. So you keep expanding this portfolio and then you sell off some condos, you buy some oceanfront, and then how does the private money lending kind of play into all of this?
Yeah, so my wife, when we moved to Chattanooga, started a real estate team helping out-of-state investors buy there. I think you may have actually worked with her. She was mentioning your name before the podcast and buy some investment properties there.
Adrian?
And yes,
Okay, yeah, yeah, we definitely work together.
yeah. So there were some situations where, her buyers were looking to buy some investment properties and they were getting a hard money lender. And like at the last minute, the hard money lender would like spike the deal. They wouldn't like something. And they would, for us being locals, we're like, this is a great deal. Like if,
Mhm.
we wanted, we would buy this ourselves. And I had left my career as a computer engineer and I was able to roll my 401k into self-directed IRA. And so I was like, you know what, we can like save these deals and be the lender on them. And so that's how we got into doing the private money lending. We were just basically saving deals that were good, solid deals that just out of state hard money lenders didn't know the market well enough and they said no. And so it was a win for us. We were able to charge, higher than average interest rates because the buyers had no other option at that point and, still save a solid deal for her clients.
So are you just basically lending out of your self-directed or are you using just checking account money to lend out as well?
So we do a mix. We do self-directed IRA money, and then we also have taken some extra cash. And also we use like life insurance policies. So we'll do, get a policy loan on that at a low interest rate, and then do interest rate arbitrage and lend that out at a higher rate for our investors in that Chattanooga market.
Okay, so everything is Chattanooga focused?
Yeah, right now we do the greater Chattanooga area. We're really focused on relationship based lending, and so we do some things that other lenders won't do, like 100% deal funding. And so that way, we're not working with a large group of people. We're working with a few selected investors that we have a solid relationship with, and are
Mhm.
able to do these investments that are higher risk that other lenders may not do, and on give our investors like infinite returns. Effectively, they're able to do some work and have no money in the deal other than reimbursement for those improvements that they make.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the same similar route that I'm in right now is more relationship based, but moving more towards an asset based lending business. But okay, cool. So you got all these different ways to earn income. So tell us a little bit about your nomadic lifestyle. So you're right now you're in the Philippines, and then How you have three kids, right? How old are they again?
Mhm. 9, 7, and 4.
Are they enjoying this type of lifestyle?
They are loving it. There's definitely some challenges with the digital nomad lifestyle, especially with a family of 5. Logistics of traveling between places and finding homes that accommodate a group of our size can be challenging, especially if we're trying to work while we're living there and find places that have like desks and rooms where we can do things like podcast recordings, of course.
Mhm.
But they've had some incredible experiences. Like in Colombia, we were in Cartagena for a month and did snorkeling, catamaran rides, explored historic areas. In Medellin, we were there for a month as well and explored that area, saw, just sites that you can't see anywhere else in the world. And so they've got these great memories and experiences that will be with them for the rest of their lives.
So when you go to these different places, are there other groups that you can meet where the kids can hang out with people, kids their age, or is it basically just like the 5 of you kind of going from place to place?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of these cities do have expat groups, and you can find them on Facebook. You just type in like the city name and like expats, or there are world schooler groups is another kind of name for what we're doing. And you can just post on there or search for like, hey, we're going to be in Hanoi, Vietnam for the month of February. Is anyone else there? And you can meet up with people. So we actually did that quite regularly in Medellin. There was a Thursday meetup, and so it was great because a lot of the locals came to that as well, that homeschool. And so we do like a language
Mm.
exchange. We do like 10 minutes talking in Spanish and then 10 minutes talking English so that everyone could kind of practice that.
Wow. Um, what's your favorite place? What's the your favorite place, travel destination?
I would say, in the US, one of our favorite places is Sedona, Arizona. I think we're probably at the end of this year going to be transitioning from like international travel to doing some more domestic US travel, slowing it down to like 6 months at a time and getting back into like doing live-in fix and flips to continue to build up our portfolio and get homes and vacation destinations that we enjoy, like Sedona and Hawaii. As far as like international destinations that we've really enjoyed, I'd say Medellin, Colombia was like very high on the list. And then like the coffee country south of Medellin. The people in Colombia are just incredibly friendly. It's beautiful country and you cannot beat the weather. Like Medellin, they call it the city of eternal spring because it's just like springtime weather there year round. It's amazing.
No, did not know that. Okay, so then, um, as you're traveling the world, where do you find time to work or increase expand your portfolio?
Yeah. So one of the things that we started using really early on in our real estate investing was virtual assistants. We both had full-time jobs that were great. That was like our primary income sources. So it didn't make sense to like take time away from those high income earning opportunities to do things like the bookkeeping or dealing with tenant calls and things like that. And so we leverage virtual assistants to do that. And we kind of learned the hard way how to find them, how to work with them, whether you do part-time or full-time and the things to look out for. And so in 2022, I got to the point in Chattanooga where like we were kind of missing out on real estate deals because of the time I was spending working on my W-2 job. And we'd gotten a great portfolio, we're doing a lot of different things. And it was to the point where between my wife's real estate income and our real estate income, we didn't really need my engineering job anymore. And so I made the decision to step away from that. And we started Workergenics to take all the lessons learned that we had with virtual assistants so that we can treat our investments even locally as if we were traveling around the world by having really trusted, capable people to manage them for us, from bookkeeping to listing them for rent, screening tenants, and dealing with service calls.
Yeah, I mean, virtual assistants, you can find them anywhere, but I think I've hired maybe 10 or 11 of them, and I've retained only one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a trick to finding them and managing them well. And so that was one of the lessons learned that we had and that we've integrated with this business Workergenics. So we have a huge support framework for all of our employees that really takes their local culture into account. And we found that we've been able to really get our turnover down very low so that our clients are able to invest the time in training their assistants and knowing they're going to stick around because we just address a lot of the issues that cause people to quit or have problems up front with a combination of technology. We're very into using AI for screening candidates because we've got such a history of working with people where we have a lot of data that we can
Mhm.
use the AI to analyze against new candidates. And then just a great support framework. So we're actually here in the Philippines now, and we hosted a New Year party for our employees in Manila. And here in Cebu, we're going to have another party for our employees that are on the Cebu Island and its surrounding areas this coming weekend.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, so then as you kind of go through this, what's like the biggest mindset issue you've had to overcome when starting your own VA business?
Yeah, there are so many. Coming into this from an engineer, my focus was like, all right, how can I leverage what we've done and my technology background and like systems to really make it easy for people to be successful? And that has helped a lot. However, there's just been other things that I've had to learn as just like managing people and client relations. That not everyone comes at this with the experience that we have of being entrepreneurs, having a successful real estate business or investments. And a lot of people just don't know how to work with a virtual assistant or any assistant, virtual or in person, doesn't matter. As a
Mhm.
solopreneur, they were used to doing everything themselves. And so having to have a mindset more of an educator has been a big shift for me. And, having a lot more content and resources for our clients to help them be educated on best practices. How do you communicate with someone virtually? What's the best way to task them? What's the best way to review the work that they're doing and keep everyone on the same page?
Yeah. Um, One of the biggest issues I had is sometimes I feel like I'm just drowning in so many things to do, and my VA is just kind of sitting there saying, I can do videos, but sometimes they still have questions and how to properly train them and like how often does your team, how often do you recommend meeting with your VA just on, Zoom calls?
Yeah. So getting started, we recommend a minimum of weekly. I maintain one thing that we do and that we kind of recommend to our clients is a model where starting out, just get an executive assistant, someone who's kind of an all-around high quality person. We're really good at finding people like that, and they can then grow into a director of operations role. And so at the moment with Workergenics, we have an administrative team of about 5 people that's all run by a director of operations. And so I focus on just meeting with my director of operations and having a really tight loop on chat on a daily basis, and then a Zoom call or Google Meet call weekly, in addition to like a 45-minute long full admin team Google Meet call on a weekly basis where we go over all of our KPIs, share issues, and set goals for the week. But then the nice thing is on a daily basis, that director of operations is the one who's actually reviewing all the tasks, giving the feedback to the rest of the team, because they've been trained and we have procedures written that they wrote after doing the task the first time. So anytime we want to introduce a new responsibility, whether it's like editing a podcast or publishing blog posts, we're going to give them a video recording of us doing it or how we want it done, have them make a procedure on how to do it. So then it's really quick and easy for us to review that, make sure they've got it. And now the business is more resilient because let's say they, don't want to work anymore, life happens and they're not working for you, have someone else come in. The business like is not hurt because there's a procedure in place and the new person can have that learning curve almost eliminated. And now it's more scalable. So if you need to have 2 video editors or 2 social media managers because of the volume of content you're putting out, they can just follow the procedure and it takes a lot less time to ramp them up.
Got it. So your services kind of off, you have services in many different areas. So you have social media managers, you have executive assistants, you have, well, also director of operations, you have cold callers, and I'm assuming all the other ones that we normally look for.
Yeah, so what we do is we focus on getting really high quality people, and we do that because we are a premium service. So we're going to be more than that $3, $4 an hour VA that a lot of people are kind of used to. And the
Mhm.
reason is we attract higher quality people. We only hire people that have college degrees and relevant experience. And we don't keep a pool of people around that we try to like pigeonhole in with a client when they come to us. We do a full talent search for each client's unique needs. And we also are able to help them and guide them on kind of what a role might look like because we have so much experience working with virtual assistants. So we know like, hey, we can actually find people that have QuickBooks skills and can maybe help with your newsletter. So you're able to get a lot more bang for your buck with just one person taking on multiple responsibilities, whether it's, doing cold calling and managing your CRM and a little bit of social media management, where that might traditionally take two or three to $4 an hour VAs.
Got it. Yeah, I think I've been slowly morphing my current VA into more of like an executive assistant slash director of operations. Um, do you provide training materials for, so let's just say someone has a VA that they really like and want to train them or help them improve their skill set. do you provide training to companies' existing VAs?
So if someone has their own VA, we're not going to get involved in that because we really have a unique system where we have, specific requirements for who we hire, how we evaluate them. We have a whole rubric for how that goes. And then we have our specific onboarding process. So we have like a 2 to 3 week onboarding time where after we've done interviews and they look good, they go through a series of rigorous evaluations and tests that really push them to the limit to make sure we get strong, resilient candidates that come in and we have specific systems. Like we have our own task management portal that we provide to our clients that we use in all of our businesses, and we know it's successful. So it makes it easy to keep track of what people are working on and have communication all in one place. And so then also because they remain our employees in our model, they're able to support each other. So we provide technology like access to ChatGPT Pro, Canva Pro, CapCut Pro, all those things that VAs typically use for people normally that they'd have to buy separate subscriptions for. We include that, including a virtual phone service. And then they also have access to support each other, which is a huge thing with the Filipino culture of helping each other. And so we enable them by having an internal chat where if someone gets a new task that they're not familiar with, they can just go on the chat and be like, hey, my client's asking me to do this pipeline from Facebook ads to Zapier to the HubSpot CRM. I haven't done that before. And someone else can jump in and be like, oh yeah, here's how to do it. I wrote a procedure, or I can walk you through it. And so we really are big on leveraging the technology, the people, and the processes to help our clients get the most value.
Got it. Okay, so then you're basically giving an opportunity, or you're basically having people outsource their. So, like for me, if I wanted bookkeeping outsourced, I would work, engage with you, and then your team would take care of it. And if there's anything weird about my situation, they would then internally ask each other to see, has anybody dealt with this before? So, kind of like a community.
Absolutely. So, you're getting a lot more than just like one person's expertise. You're getting a whole community that supports them and is also helping them when times get tough. I mean, people have issues or someone passes away in their family, they've got stress or whatever happens. A lot of those situations we have found in the past before we had this business, they would just quit rather than like face a difficult situation or, appear as a failure to their client. They would just
Mhm.
ghost them and walk away. We're able to cut those things off and support them. Be like, hey, do you need like a pay advance to help you get through the situation, or do you need to take some time off? No problem. We'll communicate with your client, or we'll get like a replacement while you're doing that, so that there's less issues for the client.
Okay. Yeah, that takes away a lot of the pain points that I've had to deal with when bringing out my own VAs.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Um, okay, so what are you working on now? What's your next big purchase in terms of investment?
So, as far as investment goes, the thing we're looking at next actually is investing in the Portugal Golden Visa program or Golden Passport program. So, for those people that haven't heard about that, it allows you to basically be on a path to EU citizenship by making an investment. And so, we have some investments that we're working on wrapping up in the US that are like a commercial RV park loan that we have. And when those mature, we're going to take those funds and invest into a variety of Portugal specific investment funds that would qualify us and our entire family to get unlimited visas to use to be in Portugal. And then over the course of a few years after having that, you become eligible to apply for a Portuguese passport, effectively giving you dual citizenship and the ability to travel unlimited in Portugal as well as the EU.
So that's pretty cool. So just another way to be able to just move freely around the world.
Absolutely, it just gives more options. It opens up also European higher education institutions to our children. So when they're at an age when they're ready to go to university, they can basically get effective, like in-state tuition rates at European universities if they want to go that route.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Harley, I mean, I appreciate you coming on and sharing all this really cool information. How can people reach out to you and how can people work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a free guide if anyone's kind of thinking about getting a VA and they want to know like what can a VA really do. We've got a guide that has over 100 different roles and responsibilities. They can go to workergenics.com/road to one podcast, where one is the number one, and get that free guide. And then if they have any other questions, they can just reach out to me through that website. We can talk through, how we've leveraged virtual assistants, how we have them help with our real estate investing, and if they're, just interested in talking shop, I'm always looking to grow my network and see what people are doing.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure to put that link in the description just to make it easier for everyone.
Perfect.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for coming on. It was great meeting you.
Thanks, John. It's been my pleasure.